Greetings and welcome to Let's End Wizardry VII Crusaders of the Dark Servant. I'm done with it. I'm done. I uploaded my vlog regarding this yesterday, where I told the world that I was doing a Wizardry Let's Play. And I'm just done with this game. It's not fun for me. Maybe there are also people who enjoy this a lot more. Yeah, I will. I think I said it a few times in the videos, and I will precise my thoughts now in this video on why I don't like Wizardry VII and why what I want from role-playing games. No? Okay, let's start off. The first problem is what I like about role-playing games, especially even with the first Wizardry titles, something also like Wizardry VI or so, is that you start off as this group of characters. You have nothing on you. You have like maybe a dagger or short sword and rancid old leather armor, and then you go into the dungeon, you kill a few things, you gain a few levels, you gather some gold, and then you go back and then you buy some better equipment. Like you switch your short sword with a long sword, you remove the leather armor from your fighters, and you get a nice chainmail, and then you feel the power level of your party increasing steadily. The goblins that you fought like 2 levels ago are now just cannon fodder for you. You just brush them aside like nothing, because you have the power to do this. You feel the weight of your equipment rising and your character levels getting more powerful. Your mages learn better spells that they can wield. That's what I want from a role-playing game. I want character progression. Not necessarily story-wise, but power-wise. I want to feel more powerful. When I create a party and I go into dungeons, I want to go into a dungeon and find treasure. I want to go into a dungeon and come back with packs full of loot that I can sell off at the local blacksmithy and maybe find a gold sword compared to my iron sword or something like that. You know, stuff I had in Wizardry. In Wizardry, you go into a dungeon and you come back packs full of weapons, armor, trinkets, and you feel more powerful just by the equipment you get, and by the levels you attained, and by the spells you acquired. I don't have this in Wizardry VII at all. I don't find any equipment. I don't get a lot more powerful with my spells. They feel more like the more powerful spells that I can wield are getting resisted quite often, or don't do a lot of damage. Like I have, let's say 50% more, not so much, but I have way more water magic available, but ice ball seems to be resisted quite often. It just doesn't do any damage compared to my fireball. Even on monsters where you don't seem to think that they have high water resistance. You have animals, random animals that come in flocks of 6 or more, who all can wield fireballs that just decimate your party. You have the feeling they just burst through your party. I don't have this in Wizardry V. In Wizardry V, when you get to the level, I think it's level 4, where the first real dangerous spellcasters are about. I think these are the llamas, for example. They come in groups of 2, 3, usually not in groups of 6 or more. And you know you have to focus them, and you can kill them quite fast if all of your party focuses on killing these animals. You don't have this in Wizardry 7. In Wizardry 7 you are fighting multiple groups of monsters that you can't just overwhelm like that. At least it doesn't feel like this. You don't feel like you have this power meter. In I like to compare it now to Wizardry 5, because Wizardry 5 is in the Wizardry series. In Wizardry 5 you gain your spells back by resting at the inn at the top of the dungeon. And you have to make sure that you don't waste your spells too much if you venture too deep. If you venture too deep, and you need to make sure that you have the spell power available to also get back to the beginning. Which is fine. It gives you this, you know how far you can go, and then you try to push a little bit farther every time before having to retreat again and recovering. You don't have this in Wizardry 7, because even though you can rest everywhere you want, it takes ages to do so. You need to rest like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you can get random encounters doing that. That can actually kill you. So you always have to be mindful of your spells. The only thing that actually does some damage, if you don't find any equipment, which I did. Great, I got the Crusader's Axe. Wonderful. 3 of my characters can't wield it. The Ranger couldn't wield it. The Samurai couldn't wield it. The Ninja couldn't wield it. You have 3 frontline fighters who can't equip a fucking axe. Oh no, sorry, only Valkyries, Lords and Fighters for some reason can equip it. Who has it? Only Fighters, Valkyries and Lords, yes. What's it just... You check your inventory and you get out of it and you get attacked suddenly. You have random encounters that can just kill you. I had this D-rank, T-rank guy encounter me after the first beginner dungeon in my last playthrough, and he just annihilated the party. I couldn't do anything with him. I wanted to leave and he attacks me. Now I don't know, can I attack him? Am I allowed to kill him, or does it break the game? I don't know. You have a random NPC that you can't get away from, who attacks you for no reason at all, and you don't know, can I kill him? Am I allowed to kill him? From what I've gathered, no. You may need to be on good terms with the D-rank, T-rank. But I don't have the decision now, unless I try to run away, which usually doesn't work that well in this game. There are people who claim, like I said, that Wizardry 7 is the best RPG ever created, and I have to disagree on so many levels with this that it's just not possible. It's quite nice that I can say this while my party gets decimated by one group of monsters, even though I cheated with them to gain skill points and hit points that shouldn't be possible at this part of the game, and just 2 people died. Sure, I could have attacked and done something about it. You have this combat system where the first 3 characters are building the front line and the other 3 characters are building the back line, which they had since Wizardry 1. But almost every enemy ignores it. Every enemy ignores it. Ravens can attack you from everywhere they want. Your main enemies, Gorns and the Dark Servant servants, all have long-ranged weapons. The Redkins have throwing weapons. You have a fucking mage in your party that has very low hit points because they are mages. That's normal, that's standard, that's okay. But you can't defend him because there are enemies who can just focus on him like they feel like. And you can't do anything against it. You can't tell your fighter to protect your fucking mage. I never had this in any RPG beforehand. Every RPG I know, you sort of have some protection against this. Some may say, but Ela. What about Might and Magic? You love Might and Magic, and your characters are constantly dying in Might and Magic. You open a chest and it explodes in your face and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. You are absolutely right. Do you know the difference between Might and Magic and Wizardry? In Might and Magic, you set a Lloyd speaking to where you were. You town portal back to a town. You pay some gold from your millions of gold that you have to resurrect your party members, if you don't have a high-level cleric to do it. And then you Lloyd speaking back to where you were. And you have no negative thing attached to it. You don't lose vitality, like in this game. You don't have limited amounts of Wesses until you get a spell, that is, like in this game. If you don't have a cleric, a priest with you, and you get resurrection as fast as possible, which takes you about to level 10 in order to get the theology required. You remember the beginnings where my mage for some reason had like 20 more spell skills than my priest? And it's just not fun. For me, an RPG is, you have this toolbox of tools, and you get thrown into different situations, and you have to make the best out of your toolbox to best these situations. Maybe you don't have a hammer to properly put in the nail in the wall, but you can take something else. Maybe you take the, I don't know, you know my metaphor, the, how do you call these, where you make, let me check. The wrenches. Maybe you take a wrench and use it to hammer the nail in. It may not look good, but the nail is inside, is in the wall. And that's what I want from a fucking role-playing game, especially a party-based role-playing game. I want to create a toolbox that I can use to master every situation. I don't want a toolbox where half of my tools are not able to do anything. Like a ranger who can't get arrows. Or mages who can't properly defend the party with magical auras. Because their mana is just so ridiculously low. And regenerates so slow that it's just not feasible to use protective spells in every battle where it's needed. That is Wizardry 7. I'm still 1,000,000,000% sure that this game is not balanced for a new party. I'm positively sure. Maybe I did something wrong with the walkthrough. Maybe the walkthrough should have taken me somewhere else beforehand. I don't know if Nuxuliantis or whatever it's called would have been the better destination. If I had found weapons there in a chest or something. You have NPCs in this game that doesn't make any lick of a sense. They just tell you something about a holy work and you have to find... Oh yeah! In order to progress in this game, you need to find your fucking maps if you don't use a walkthrough. Those maps can be stolen before you actually get there from NPCs. And you have to track down these NPCs and buy those maps so you get the hint that you need in order to finish the game. And if you are too slow because you are a new party with low level characters and you have to grind in order to defeat some Gorn Ashigarus, to progress in this game, and you grind for 5 hours to get your few levels that barely make a dent. I think the main problem is with people who claim this is a classic. They played the game to hell and back when they were younger. Granted, I did the same. I played Dungeon Master, I played Might and Magic, I played Wizardry 5. I remember playing Wizardry 5 as a kid, 12 years old or something. I didn't know any English. I barely understood what I had to do, but I enjoyed playing it. I powered through it. When I had my 6-week summer vacation, I was sitting in my room, my dark room, playing Wizardry and figuring out that you can just reset the game when your party dies and it doesn't save there. It was a huge leap forward. Sitting in my room playing Eye of the Beholder 1 for also the Super Nintendo and figuring out how to enter the last level. I was stuck for so long in this 3x3 room, and I didn't know that I had to throw an item at a wall. Totally random. I don't know why I did it, but it opened up the passageway and I was happy. I don't have this time anymore. I don't have the patience anymore to sit here for 20 plus hours to finish 1/3 of a game, and I don't know if I make any progress. Grinding, and you have to grind, and you have to grind. I don't mind long games. There's a game that interests me, The Last Remnant or something like that. According to How Long to Beat, the game is 150 hours long, if you're a completionist. 80 hours just for the story. It's a JRPG, so maybe 60 of these 80 hours is grinding. But I also said I don't mind grinding. I actually like grinding. I like coming home from work, a long day at work, and my mind is just full. I'm just done with everything. And I can sit down and do a boring grind. Something where I don't have to think or having to constantly reload. This is my most favorite grind, where I take my party who is decently strong and fight monsters that they can easily defeat without having to fear constantly of dying, of losing progress all the time. And that's why I don't like Wizardry 7. I don't like Wizardry 7 because Wizardry 7 doesn't give you the tools you need to beat the game in a non-hair-pulling manner. I dislike Wizardry 7 because it doesn't give you character progression. You have this job system, this wonderful, wonderful job system. I love the job system in this game. I love being able to change jobs. That's one of the main reasons I loved playing Final Fantasy X2, because of the job system. I like having different characters who can change into different roles depending on the situation and the levels and so on and so forth. But it just doesn't add anything to the game. You want a fighter character as the first character, so you can get as many hit points as possible. And then you want to switch to a tool character, let's say it this way. Someone who gives you hiding and critical hits. And then maybe you want to switch between the caster character, so you gain as much mana as possible. But it just takes so unbelievably long to do this. And by the time you reach a decent grinding spot, and so you just don't feel like doing it anymore. Because I think I'm about 1/3 through the game. Imagine what I did. I imagine what I did up until now. 20 hours about. Yeah, I think I spent 20 hours with this game. From my recordings to my off-screen grinding. About 20, 25 maximum. And that's 1/3 of the game. It kind of fits with how long to beat. This game is apparently 60 hours long. On how long to beat. How long to beat Wizardry 7. Main story 66 hours, main and extra 100 hours. Completion is 112 hours. Yeah. That fits. 22 hours, 1/3 of the game done. The mere thought of having to invest 44 more hours into this game is just making me cringe. I should have gotten armor and equipment upgrades in Ogre Castle. And I should have gotten another round of armor and equipment upgrades in Munkarama. All I got was 2 pieces of armor. 2 pieces of armor for a 6 character party. Who did that? Who decides to give you no items at all in an RPG? And then I was like, okay, maybe I have to level my characters. And I gave everyone level 37. Unattainable in this game. Unless you grind like an idiot. And what do you get out of it? Nothing. Just nothing. I haven't even encountered enemies yet that can insta-kill me with a normal hit. I haven't encountered ninjas and samurais yet. Oh yes, wait, I did. One of the Ashigarus insta-killed me, I think. I don't know if it was on video or just by grinding. I'm done with Wizardry 7. If I ever feel like playing Wizardry 6 again and transferring characters over to 7, I may give it another try. But not 1 second beforehand. I'm just done with this game. Fuck it. It's not fun. It's boring. It's frustrating. And video games should be fun. Should be enjoyable. If you enjoy this, more power to you. More power to you. You can play this game. If you want a newer game, play Elminage Gothic on Steam. That's about the same as Wizardry, where your level 1 characters can get gang killed by enemies, where most likely in the end game they just throw AoE death spells around like it's candy. More power to you. Do it. I'm looking forward to watch the videos. I'm not doing it. I don't have the patience anymore. I want to play games that I actually enjoy. I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see each other soon. So take care and goodbye.